this is my team for now. Julia, Hugo. Oh yeah, we gotta equip them gems. Okay, I was a Hugo player in Third Strike, and oh shit, am I in story mode? What a blow up. Well, in Third Strike, I played Hugo, and in that game he was a character that you had to. It was very difficult to advance with him. Like he was very slow, and you had to basically had to parry and slowly walk your opponent to the corner to really try to have like solid options against him. That's where you want to be with Hugo, is in the corner. But in this game, Hugo doesn't have to do that. You can use your teammate to your advantage. And once I was doing the trials with Julia, I saw that she had good movement. So she had a good backdash. She had she had good command normals that moved her around and dashed. And then come to find out, I forget the name of it, but she spins, that avoids fireballs. So where Hugo struggles, Julia succeeds. So that's why I find this team combination advantageous. Oh, hold up. I need my colors. I need Wolfgang Amadeus Hugo. Should I beat up? Beat up with my buddy. So, one thing I don't particularly like about the Brady Games guide, while it gives you the frame data that's really valuable, it doesn't really tell you what normals are used for when you use them, and like pretty much why the normals have the numbers that they do. So just to go down them, you have for crouching short is excellent, stupid distance to be honest. You have this low forward, which has more distance, a little bit slower. I think it's, I don't know, I won't lie. But crouching short is 5, and it's -1 on hit. Or excuse me, -1 on block. That's why it's good. So you can poke at your opponent all day from this range. Which if you do the chain, sometimes the low strong won't connect, especially if you counter hit them, and their hitbox will be a bit pushed back. But if you do the short forward chain, it pretty much will always hit. I haven't seen it miss one time. But what this is good for is that you can hit confirm off of it into the cross rush. Or if you can always opt to not do it, you just sweep your opponent. If you want damage, you can go for EX, whatever you want, or you can do the super. So low short is what it's basically where I start off with it. That's where I see like this is the move that like my starting point. And where this is like max range is basically where all of her magic happens. It's middle poking range. And what's good about Julia is she's very much so a counter poke character. And her jump's pretty good, but for the most part, this is what people are afraid of, because they don't want to get hit by this. And now you have a knockdown, and now you can mix them up with the, I think it's called Rushing Rapids Tripling Stream or something like that. But this move right here is amazing. Why, you might ask? Because it is +1 on block. Why is that important? Well, let me show you. And this is something I was watching. A video of Hanzo Gonzo playing. He was abusing it a lot, and I had the same idea. See, from this range, you have that. If it's black, you have this low short, or jumping is a good option, because eventually people are going to start backdashing out of her options. But you don't have to do anything. I mean, it's just having that threat of I'm going to jump, so you better keep blocking, or I can still continue to pressure. And again, that's very important that you can hit him from that. So, like in any other game, you would go to block, and you would go to random, and you would see, oh, that blocked, that was blocked, that was blocked, and that was hit. So I hit confirm off of that chain, and that is That is extremely important that you can do that. What's going on, Magneto Maniac? I see you. Yo, Julia is so good. Anyways, another reason why this move is good is because it is extremely easy to hit confirm off of. Like, oh, it hit. You can do the DP for the most damage. You can do this for the setups and the amount of the positioning, and because this sets up well for the that stupid move that's an overhead and crumples. It's a mid, and it also pushes them towards the corner. And like I mentioned earlier, that is one of the strengths about Julia is if I have them in the corner and I tag in Hugo and I do a combo, then I have what is strong about Hugo. I have him in the corner now, and I can avoid all of that like walking around and slowly jumping and trying to force my way in. You know, with Hugo, it always feels like I'm trying to put a circle into a square hole when I can just put in Julia first and then just use her move to get in. And now they're pretty much boned. Like I can just do whatever I want. I can have my way with them. And if they somehow, let's say they roll out of the corner, I guess wrong. They roll out of the corner and jump away. I just raw tap Julia back in. Depending on, of course, if she has a good amount of health, I'll just bring her back in to close the gap. To go into, I should talk about her low jab. So far we've gone over low short, why it's good, the links to chain off of, and side note, low short, low strong is slightly less punishable because low strong has less frame disadvantage on block than low forward does. However, low forward has more reach and it's more guaranteed to hit. But if you're doing it for max range, most characters don't have a normal that will. Oh, I can do this. Most characters won't have a normal that can reach her from that distance if blocked. I will demonstrate. Look at that distance. Look at that. Oh, I can't even get over there with my stupid low short. But low forward, as mentioned earlier, has more reach. So that has low strong, less range, but less. It's harder to punish. But they're both pretty hard to frame trap cancels. They're both pretty difficult to punish. But anyways, like I was saying, first we've gone over this low short and why it's good, and this combination. And that's good because it's +1 on block, which is pretty stupid. And by the way, if you do this, +1 on block, and since this is, since low short is 5, this in essence makes that a 4-frame move because you're +1 minus that 5. So it's like having 4, and then most people try to swing there. And then you can hit confirm right there. Or you can jump, as mentioned earlier. Or you can hit confirm off of it. So what I was alluding to was another thing that's good about her is her low jab. Because you can hit confirm off of that as well. And that combos. And like I mentioned earlier, that roundhouse DP does the most damage. This gives you good damage, not as much, but it gives you a hard knockdown. They can't quick stand after it, and it gives you the opportunity to set this up. Other good normals. You see that links as well. So if you're late on seeing a hit, you can go into your chain combo. But stand jab. One thing that low jab lacks is it takes me out of throw range. Stand jab does not. The pushback is different. Stand jab's frames are different. Like it's +1 on block, whereas low jab I think is like +3 or 4 on block. But since normal throws are 7 frames, it's kind of weird actually. I was doing some tests with Hugo. Like that's 6. But if I wait and then it'll combo from that range. But anyways, if you're going for a tick grab, I would recommend stand jab. because there's also other options off the stand jab that you can also implement, such as her chain, or it goes to that option, and that chain is it's pretty much a mix-up. I mean, it is a mix-up. You hit him with the second punch, because after this, they're forced to block the second part, which goes into a low or it goes into a mid. So say I get this. I forget how to set the knockdown. But say I just get a generic knockdown. This chain right here is jab jab, and then jab jab mid or jab jab forward. And this is a jab jab mid, and this is jab jab forward. But say I get a generic knockdown, I cross them up, and let's say I'm not exactly sure if it's hitting or not. I can go into this chain, and if it hits them, I can still grab them. If they block it, I can still grab them. Or I can just keep going into the regular mix, because she also has another option off of that standing jab, which is the back mid and then jab jab jab, which leads to a knockdown. It doesn't do as much damage. The Brady Games actually says to, if you see it hit from there, just to cancel into it. And I kind of agree, but it also leads me to think that this chain is pointless otherwise. So I'm thinking there's something else that's used for it, but I digress. Stand jab is good for that option. Now, the other thing is, this chain right here, the strong, there's a gap between there. Between these two moves, there's a gap where you can pretty much match jab, match DP. Now, of course, if they're matching an invincible move, you're not going to win. But if they suspect a throw break, because they understand that, you know, low jab doesn't do that, stand jab does. If they suspect a throw break, low jab also combos as well to it. And since stand jab is +1 on block, if they try to counter hit you and you hit low jab immediately after, and since low jab is 4, that means there's a 3-frame window. So let's say you're fighting against a Tekken character, and most Tekken characters, well, that I've seen, don't have 3-frame normals. So if I do this chain, let me put on block. If I do this chain, not that one, that will counter hit if they try to hit a button. And of course, if they do a DP, then it's going to beat it. But it's also another option to consider. And one thing that hasn't really gotten like utilized yet by other people, because I suspect eventually down the road people are going to be backdashing a lot against Julia, because they're just like, you know what, I'm getting away from this. I think this forward fierce option you'll start seeing that in play every, like, still sparingly, but it's a considerable option, because this move right here causes a ground bounce on aerial opponents. I'll demonstrate that, as well as show you a good combo off of air-to-airs. You might be wondering why I'm wearing a hat. I'll explain that later. So, the opponent is jumping. We'll put them on counter hit. And before I do this, the Tekken characters, most Tekken characters struggle against anti-airs. I'm noticing Julia doesn't at all, except for certain ones that go over this range here. But most Tekken characters struggle with anti-airs, and most people are like, what do I do about this? I think the reason why you have this whole juggle property is to compensate for that. Because if you lead somebody air to air, if somebody jumps at you, it's almost as if it encourages you to jump at them as well, to counter hit them, if you have the reactions. Because you get a combo off it, basically. You see how that caused the ground bounce. But another thing I wanted to comment on was back to that use of aerial normals. I'm leaning more towards jumping strong, because it's faster, it does less damage than the heavier options, such as jumping roundhouse and jumping fierce. But since it's faster, it gives me more time to react. Let's say if I'm just jumping at them, like say I'm doing this string and I'm deciding I'm going to jump at them now. If I see that they're in the air, I can make that decision to switch from doing the cross-up to doing an immediate jump strong, and I get that counter hit, or maybe I'll just get a hit. But if I see the words counter, then I can go into a good combo. And And the most consistent combo I've came up with is low jab, because that'll pretty much always hit no matter the like geometry. So I get the hit, low jab, and then I go into forward fierce, which causes the ground bounce. And then when you hit somebody in the air, it's like a weird juggle property. Like normally I could do more after that. I'll show you. Well, normally I could do more after that, but it seems like the game stops you from doing more. From stand jab? It seems about the same. See, low jab is faster. The reason why I think low jab would be better than stand jab, while stand jab has a more extended hitbox, low jab is faster, and since you can hit them, you have more time to hit them as they're falling instead of as they're coming up. But they're probably about the same. They do the same damage. So for that, I'd say to each his own. But the ideal combo that you can actually do there, if I recall correctly, was not well. See, that one only combo. That's kind of what I was saying earlier. But yeah. And by the way, if someone's jumping at you with Julia, the most consistent DP is the light kick. And it seems like the light kick is for anti-airs. The 4 is for reversals. Like if you were to do a reversal DP. That gives you more time than the short version. And they both have invincibility. But I haven't fully tested all this. There may be like a window between it, but I'm not 100% sure myself. But like I said, it seems to me that is the reversal option. And roundhouse is for the damage. In the case of, for example, if I get this combo, I would end it with that, because that would do more damage, rather than finish rather than finishing the string or ending with the cinematic. But it all depends on what I feel my opponent is going to do. Let's see. What else do we got? This move is pretty good. You won't see it often. Like I use it when I feel like my opponent is getting really, like I gotta block a lot, kind of. If they block that string, I like to do stand short. Like I'll mix it between stand short and that low option, or I'll just block, or I'll just jump. What was I talking about? I am so tired right now. Like I have gotten very sleepy. What was I talking about? Anyways. Okay, so the standing forward chain, that's good for the this launcher combo, and it's also good as a general poke, because as you can see, this causes a stagger state. Toward and forward is 9 frames, and it causes a stagger state on counter hit, which also leads to a more damaging combo, because you can actually jump at them and get combo. So, and I can tag in JiBbo if I want. And I don't tag in JiBbo there particularly for the damage, but for the setup, because now they're in the corner and I can just have my way with them, etc. But back to the standing forward. If they are crouching, it won't have the same effects. It will cause a slip instead of a stagger, and the slip does not allow for a combo off the jumping roundhouse. And the Birdie Games guy says that you can't react if it counters, And I think that's what they're referring to. You can't react to if it's a slip or a standing stagger. And that's going to take more testing. But you can definitely react to, well, I can definitely react to if it were standing and block, or if it was standing and hit, or if it was standing and counter hit. Because you get plenty of time. I think I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. We'll do stand, auto, random, and random counter hit. So let's see. That hit. That was blocked. Blocked. Oh, counter! 2 hits. I'm doing it live! Anyways. I don't really know why you would do that chain on the ground. I haven't quite tapped into that yet. But if you do, crouching fierce, if you do a light kick, I forget what it's called. I think it's win something. You can actually combo a crouching roundhouse. And after crouching fierce. And after the crouching fierce, you can combo another light kick, win into the light kick option, to the kick option, and then from the kick option, the fierce punch option. And that also moves them a lot to the corner as well. You know, I was thinking about buying a splitter, and I probably should anyways, but I kind of like this where I can point towards the screen. Anyways, she has this back chain right here, and I'm not exactly 100% sure what it's for. I think it might be just a generic way, like, oh, this hit, so I can tag into my partner. But I still haven't figured that out yet, because the combos you can get off of it are not as damaging as the combos that you can get off of the option that has the +1 block. Oh, and by the way, her super is 1 frame start. If you see anything that looks remotely negative, reversal that's stuff. I really can't wait to blow people up with this. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. What I've seen other Julia players do is this sort of thing where they're kind of doing this to build meter and such. And I think that's legit. But you can also build meter with this, and you can adjust the ranges where you'll end up. This has, you know, light kick being the shortest, hard kick being the furthest. And you can also punish fireballs with the options. So if you were to throw a fireball, I'm trying to explain this as simplest way as possible. I can either avoid it just straight up, just judging the distance depending on where he throws it and which strength that he throws. Like if he throws the fierce one and I'm this far away, I might want to get more ground than I do like the ability to punish him, or just like if he throws a fireball from here and I know I'm gonna avoid it from here to here. This leaves me in jump range from where he would be, so then I'm perfect for a DP. Or I can just sit there and then try to close the gap where I have my mid-range normals. And this is where they start freaking out, like, oh shoot, what do I do now? I have to back up. I have to go back to the corner, which is where that's exactly what I want with Julia. So I can tag in my boy Hugo. So that's another way to zone in. And I've gotten, after playing JiBbo, I've gotten to this kind of point where I become confident with just straight up walking at them. Like I'm conscious, I'm aware of the normals that they can hit me with, but even considering Julia's strong mid-range normals, I know that they don't want to hit a button because I can. And that further allows me to get closer to them. And also, some new stuff that I found is just her normals are pretty good. Like standing roundhouse is a really good situational anti-air. Like say right about here is where Law would finish his jump and I would DP him. But if I were right here and Law were to jump for whatever reason that online people like to do, if he were to jump here or any other option, I could hit him with this as he's getting here. We'll do that. Rather than do this DP, which doesn't cover this area. So that's good. And also the standing fierce has a lot of range. It doesn't give you much options after it because it's actually negative on hit. But the distance that it hits leaves, I mean, you're not getting punished for it. It can be free damage if you're just poking with it. Another option I found is this chain that I discussed earlier. If you see, this is a mid. This last hit is a mid, but it also, if you end it from a distance, it still hits and it has stupid range. And so it's basically an overhead from. I mean, look at the range. I'm pretty sure this is gonna hit. Now, problem with that is that it's a telltale sign that you're up to something. If you're doing this, that your opponent, if they know about this, they're gonna say, well, he's probably going for an overhead. I should probably jump at him to punish him, or block, back away. But you doing this chain, if they know about it, then that gives them a sign that you're doing that. However, you are not committed to doing that option. You can just do jabs, and now they're worried about that. So that gives you something else to consider. If they back to that toward and forward, if they are counter hit crouching, what am I doing? Man, my motor skills are so shot right now. Shot. I can't even speak. If they are counter hit while crouching and they get the slip, there's a couple things you can do after identifying. Because to me, identifying is extremely important. Because I want to know what's happening before I make a decision. I think that's what a lot of people lack in the fighting game community now. But if I hit the standing forward, I see that they're slipping. I can go into that chain, and that's how I can follow up that combo. Or if I'm in range, I can go right back into that combo. Oh yeah. So since that's a good setup, this if you get a combo that ends with this is a good way to set up the it's explosion something, wind step explosion I think it's called. That's a good way to set up that overhead and get that really damaging combo. 400 damage. Since that's a good way to set that up, you can do just a jab version and end up close to them without actually doing the overhead. So, and this is kind of gimmicky, I'm not a fan of it, but you can go into the low. And that works as well. And of course they can forward roll, and actually I'll get to that now. One thing that I've been doing, which I'm not sure if this is the most awesome option yet, if they forward roll, is I'll just do that because it builds meter and it advances me. We'll take a look at it right now. Let's see what they end up when I do. Yeah, that's pretty much a cross-up. If I do, it's not meaty, but that if I do forward, wind, whatever it's called. Let's see if I switch it up. Okay, so if I do jab, it'll end up in front of them. But if I do the forward roll, it'll end up behind them. But if they don't forward roll, then I don't have that option. So let's see what happens if they don't forward roll. And so do it. It doesn't leave you with much. Yeah. But yeah, these are all options to consider. Because minus that, let's say they don't forward roll. I may not have gotten that meaty, that Oki situation with this, but let's say they're in the corner. And I do this whole number. it's going to keep them towards the corner rather than them getting a free rollout. So that gives them another incentive to either forward roll or not. See, this is what I like about fighting games, because it's not just I'm forward rolling. It's I'm forward rolling because he has that option. So let me channel the powers of my pimple that's in my forehead and the reason why I'm wearing my hat. Okay, I'm gonna forward roll because just read what's his name, Sterling's article about Yomi. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get to. Some other side notes: her rush punch, if you space it correctly, it's safe on block. It's like -10, but the way that frame data describes not active frames, but negative frames, is that if you were to hit it close up, you would be -9, -10. Yeah, you'd be -10 if you do it close up. But since it has 9 active frames, if you hit it on the last active frame, you'll only be -1. You know, I had a way. I was thinking about this at work, and I had a way of explaining it, but I really should have a good night to rest before I do this. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, if you do this max range, you won't get punished for it unless they have a 1 frame. Let's say you do it perfectly, and you're only -1. The only way they can punish it if it was another Julia player with that super, if they had the super. But it does leave you at disadvantage. But with that said, it is a considerable option because of the range and because it's able to hit people that are zoning you. And also the EX version has 1 hit of armor, I believe. I would say that you can use it to go through fireballs, but this goes through fireballs as well and it's free. So I would recommend this. There's also, this isn't really worth the time, but I guess I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. I have time. But also, if it hits, and you are max range, like I explained earlier, the same thing applies for hitting. If you're about max range, you can actually combo a little jab. I'm way too close. And off of that, you can do like now let's say it doesn't hit in the corner. If you hit it correctly, you'll probably see that once in a lifetime. But it's just another, like I said, that's not really worth mentioning. Another option off of the cross-ups that you can set up after aforementioned +1 frame up block string. Standing roundhouse. The reason why standing roundhouse is good is actually because it's slow, and that will allow for counter hits. It gives your opponent an opportunity to actually hit a button. So let's say they block that. I can't do that. But let's say they block this first move. I can do it. Let's say they block this first move, and you're doing that option regardless. You're doing that for just, if it's happening, it's happening. That still leaves you at +1 on block, and if it hits, you can confirm into a combo. And it has a reason to hit because the other person can hit a button. And as I mentioned earlier, I think Toward and Fierce is going to be an option because people are just going to start straight up backdashing. And if they backdash, that's going to hit them airborne, and they're going to be ground bounce, and you can combo after that. But the reason why that is more so a option because you can combo after it. That to me is the best combo because I'm as demonstrated. I'm not confident with it always hitting. All right, take it easy, Jinsel. Thanks for watching. Because you can also do a super, but I'm not 100% sure that crouching fierce hit. Because I'm not always 100% sure that combo. See, like I dropped it then and it didn't counter. I still counter it. And you can also back mid punch as well, which leads to yeah, that's why I use that combo, because if they do block it, I don't know for sure, but if they were to block the crouching fierce and I were doing the roll, I can back off because I can verify that they blocked it or that I didn't combo it. But let's say they blocked this right here. Since it's +1, I can go back and maybe I can't. Maybe I can't. I can go back into the low jab into like more pressure strings. And low jab into the back strong jab string is good because jab is okay. Let me see if I can run this down. +1 on block. This is 4 startup, so that makes it. So that makes it like a 3-frame normal if you time it perfectly. So since that is now a 3-frame normal, that gives you. Oh shoot! I think it's +3. It's +3. Low jab is +3, and back mid punch is 6 startup. And since you're going to the chain anyways, now you're +1 after this low hit. So that's frame traps galore. And again, you're not committed to doing all those. It's just a considerable option. I can do this as well, like I showed earlier, or I can straight up throw them after the jump. And one thing that applies in Street Fighter 4 that applies in this game as well is using lighter attacks to cause less block or hit stun, such as like a jumping jab. I can throw them much earlier when I land, rather than if I do like a late fierce. It'll whiff. But if I do this jab, and that makes it more difficult for them to see, respond to, and react, because it's harder to see that, oh, he hit me with a light attack, and also it's because they're in less hit block stun if you hit them with it. Oh, and her backdash is stupid. This is good. If you get in trouble, and as long as they're not crossing you up, if they're crossing you up, block, and then Street Fighter 4 that backdash, like it's that good. Shoot, did I miss it? Oh no! Yeah, this is so ghetto rigged. See this right here? Oh. That's actually how I'm setting this up. This is pointing toward the TV. Okay. What else is there? I think that might be it. I've seen a lot of people try to anti-air with crouching fierce. I don't agree. I mean, I can see the logic behind it. But if you have an invincible, like to me, it's just the easier option because you don't have what my friends back home. You don't have a dragon. You don't have to be looking for them to jump for you to dragon them as they jump at you. So you just hit a button rather than do a motion and then hit a button. What did it do? Crouching Fierce does 90. Her Light Kick DP does 120. So there's also more damage, and Light Kick DP has invincibility. And I think it just overall has a better hitbox than Crouching Fierce. So this is the easy route, and boom. If you're jumping in from a distance, jumping roundhouse is a good option because of the angle that she hits. Whereas like jumping fierce, it doesn't hit as low and it doesn't hit as like further. So jumping roundhouse, though you have to do it late, gives you a better opportunity because you can hit them faster with a normal that causes more hit blocks them from a greater distance. Whereas back to the screen, like say from right about here, this is not perfect, but say from right about here, I can use a jumping roundhouse. Whereas I'd have to be like right here to use the jumping fierce. It's kind of deceiving, but I guess that's a good example of what I'm saying. But if you're for some reason going to jump at them, then from a distance, then jumping roundhouse is obviously, I don't even know why I went there, it's kind of obvious. Man, those guys are going crazy in the background. Are they punching a drum? That's not what it's used for. Holy crap, I'm tired. Alright. Quick review. Long short's good. Stand short's also good as well. It's 5 frames. And this is kind of why I was alluding to why I think Julia is my new Gen. Because she has so many mid-range confirmable options. Like this, that links into low, which I can hit confirm into that, or I can dash punch. So just in general, that she has good options. Hit confirm off the low short into chain. This toward and forward causes. I look mad lazy right now. That causes the stagger or slip state. This right here is the +1 chain that leads to hit confirmable damage. Her DPs, in my, I don't want to say opinion, because it's pretty much true. The light kick is for anti-air, the forward is for, I think, reversals and the tag-ins, and the roundhouse version is for damage. Man, my nose is stuffed. So if you see that hit, you can do that, or you can go into super. I don't even get the combo. Yeah, that you can link it if you want, because it's super stupid. Stupid! Yeah. Man, my brain is like 25% functioning right now. I swear, I kid you not. As Long Island Joe would say, I swear on everything that I love, my brain is working at 25%. But anyways, the most damaging combo, off of, say you get a jump in, or you say you get that stagger, or like say you get an opportunity that you know this combo is gonna hit, and that would be toward and strong, and then jab, which leads to that launcher. Actually, I'm lying. This isn't the most damaging combo, but I recommend this combo for myself right now because it's the easiest to, execute. So, toward strong in the jab into the launcher, and then toward forward, the same one that causes the stagger state, into like that. With toward forward, I think any punch. Yeah. Oh, okay. Toward forward in the strong, and then roundhouse DP for the damage. Or if you really care to, you can go into the cinematic, whatever, and then go for more mix-ups. But that combo it looks like this. You can tag in your partner there, and whatever combo you feel is necessary. An example of what you would know your roundhouse is gonna hit. Let's say you jump and Ryu is throwing, you literally see the fireball come out. And you're already in the air, so it's like, oh, I know it's gonna hit, so I can go into this combo. Otherwise, if it hits, you can do the whole, what I discussed earlier, pressure strings. And all that. Her jumping forward, I didn't explicitly say this, but her jumping forward and her jumping roundhouse cross up. And once I find some setups for the jumping roundhouse, it's going to be really dirty. It's really deceiving how it hits. Because I think sometimes you can hit them in front and land behind them. It looks just stupid. Hit confirm off the low. That's not what I want to do. mid-range hit off the low. If you want, you can super. If you don't want to super, you can do an EX. You do that, or you can go into the tech super, and that's all off of hit confirms. What else is good? Party Crasher. You can combo stand short into that, it combos. Or you can do a back mid punch to it. And that, of course, goes into that. Crouching forward has a lot. I feel like if somebody just joined right now, they'd be like, what is this guy? But yeah, check the archives. I went into a lot of details of a lot of stuff right now. I'm just kind of trying to close it out right now so I can go to sleep. But I'm really doing this for a friend. I think that about covers what makes Julia good. Also, this is stupid. This is really kind of a no-brainer, but unless you haven't seen it yet, then you're like, wow, that is dumb. I put the opponent to tag in and then block, right? Well, maybe I should do it high. Opponent is blocking high while I'm tagging him in. So they tag in. Boom! Blocking high. It punished the tagging, and what that means is I can be pretty much anywhere on the screen if I time it right. It's gonna punish, and then I get that most damaging combo. Let me see how far I can actually lead. Full screen. I don't think I can. I don't know how much I can walk up. Okay. If it's full screen, I have to come up with a better combo. But the fact is, I can punish them from full screen for a raw tag. So yeah, that about covers it. I'm so tired.